It's January 19th, 2026. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. Very cold air is about to move down. Watch this Arctic blast, that tongue of cold air moving around, down, and then right through the Northeast. Frigid conditions are coming, especially by the weekend, and then that cold air moves to the south. We could see a significant icing event, one of the most widespread ice storms we've seen in quite some time as this cold air moves down. Still a wait and see on how much of this moisture lifts up to the northeast. That is what we're going to be tracking. Big differences in the models in what we're seeing. This here, the American model, that cold air is going to plunge down throughout the week. We'll see a southern storm system developing. Look at that pink shading. That is the icing. The ice potential so widespread from Texas back through the Carolinas, and then a wait and see on how much of this moisture is going to build up to the north. So Matt and I will be covering this. As you're subscribed, you'll get those latest updates. Plenty to cover, but that cold air itself by the end of the week will be surging down, and that will start to work in as we work our way into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and hanging out. Some of the coldest weather we've seen in quite some time. It could be the coldest weather all winter long, depending on how this breaks. So look at Saturday morning. You see some of the actual air temps. This is not even factoring in the wind chill, and the winds will be a factor. Some of these numbers, single digits, low single digits. So we swing back toward parts of western Mass. We could be below zero for those temperatures, running right at about 7 degrees, maybe less in Boston by Saturday morning. So this is what we'll be watching all the way down through DC. Single digits with the temperatures, a significant cold weather outbreak coming, and then it will meet up with some of the moisture. That's what we'll be tracking next. Now, take a look at the wide picture. This here is on Friday. I mentioned that cold air moving in. We are going to see a couple systems bring in some shots of snow, more in the way of clipper systems back through the Great Lakes. Now, the European model here on Friday is showing that icing situation developing back through Oklahoma, back through Texas. You see it right here, that pink shading. There's the rain. Dallas, it's going to be a story all week long, how much of this icing or wintry mix we'll be seeing. Then by the time we get into Saturday, now here's the difference. The American model keeps most of this moisture south of the Northeast and off the coast, and then kind of wraps it up toward the Atlantic region of Canada. I'll show you that, but the European model is showing this more to the north. If this holds, if the European model is right or even close to it, that won't only mean a significant icing event, but a significant snow event will be possible parts of New England and the mid-Atlantic. But again, we keep it in perspective on this channel. Matt and I don't just look at the models, we look at what's going on in the environment. We need another day or two to sort this, but as it stands, the European model is showing some significant snow trying to work in this weekend, say near DC, Baltimore, and then right on the edge of Boston and New York. This would be on Sunday, and you can see how this moisture not really lifting all the way to the north back through New England. There's the icing potential in the deep south, swinging back toward parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, back through North and South Carolina with the snow there in the blue. So this is a big difference. That's the European model. Let's take a look at what we're seeing here with the American model. Now, in the short term, these shots of snow coming across, right? So some minor accumulations as we go over the next few days. This is through Wednesday, Pittsburgh, Altoona, north through New York, and we'll see some snow showers brushing by New England, Atlantic region of Canada. By Thursday, you see some of the moisture around. But Thursday and Friday, this is the area we're watching. And again, you'll see how this is a little bit more to the south. The American model is sitting a bit more to the south as we work our way into the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. The cold air itself, that is a lock. That is going to happen by Saturday, though. The American model showing the snow really south of DC, Fredericksburg, Virginia Beach, back through the Carolinas. And you see how the American model doesn't really lift it too much up to the north. The European model, meanwhile, has some of that snow near New York, Philly, and DC. So a big difference. And again, we look at the models, but we look at a lot of data. Matt and I are going through everything. We're going to see how things set up, and we'll be able to make that call just over the next day or two on if some of this snow will be working its way to the north through the mid-Atlantic and eventually into New England. Here's the broader picture on the American model. All a lock in the short term with that big icing and southern snow event. That is going to happen. We'll fine-tune exactly where, but then as we shift out in time here, it's a matter of how much does this kind of pivot to the north. Again, the European model showing some significant snow in DC, but you see right here on Saturday. The American model showing most of it to the south, just clipping Delmarva. Southern sections, maybe Salisbury to the south, and then riding that moisture offshore. So big difference in the models, which is rather common this time of year with these scenarios and this far out. Now, the American model did a good job with the recent snow situation that we had in parts of New England. And the European model is playing catch up. Now we'll see if the European model is doing better or vice versa. We'll see how it goes. But very cold air, that's a lock. That's coming in. So again, giving you the heads up on that. That is going to sweep down, that Arctic blast moving in. And then we'll see that new system forming first in the south back toward Texas, a significant ice and even snow situation, wintry mix across the deep south. And then we'll see how far north that moisture will be getting throughout the week. The Mid-Atlantic, New England, in the Atlantic region of Canada. Matt and I got you covered right here on Snow Bros. I hope you have a really good start to the week.